All right. Greetings. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. I am your hostess and your melanated queen. As you can see, I got my shirt on, my melanated queen shirt, y'all. So today's topic, all right, I'm talking about ratchetness, hood mentality, and ghetto behavior. And the reason why I'm touching on these topics is because it is really has gotten out of control. Um, it's gotten way out of control with what's going on. It is heavily pushed in the melanated community for, melanated people to actually have this type of behavior and they think it's normal. This is normalized and it's a major problem. It's a major issue because it not only affects those people um, that live in this type of environment, it affects people all over the globe at this point. And I know that they say that hip hop is a culture, but it is my consensus that hip hop is a music genre. It is not a culture. And it takes up a lot more than music and videos to make a culture. So when we look at the Asian community, when we look at the Hispanic community, when we look at the Middle Eastern community, they don't just put a title on their culture based on a music genre. Melanated people are the only people that do this backwards behavior. We have to actually start taking more accountability and speaking out against the nonsense that's plaguing the community. Some of this would actually entail baby mama culture, single baby mothers out here. How many males are making these women single mothers, and how many women are signing up to be single mothers? And when I talk about it, it's not to bash or shame anyone, but I know that when you speak on things that are real, when you speak on the truth, again, people don't like to hear the truth, especially melanated individuals. They get hypersensitive, and either they're going to not want to hear it, change the subject, make up excuses, say you don't understand. Um, what else? They'll unsubscribe from the channel because they're hypersensitive and they don't want to hear the truth. And you can't sit here and pretend like this is not going on. There are a lot of people that will sit here, go along to get along, just to pretend like this stuff is not going on. And it's really sad because the narrative and the consensus in the melanated community is if you are dysfunctional, if you have a way of thinking that does not acquiesce to your favor, and you just go along with the rest of the ratchetness, most of the discombobulation that goes on in the community, if you have backwards thinking, backwards behavior, disrespectful behavior, if you just blend in with the rest of everybody else that is practicing degeneracy, then you are accepted and you fit in. And y'all know what I'm talking about because I've been on this planet many years to see the mentality of melanated individuals. Um, and I think a lot of it is just because I used to live around like a multi-cultured, more diverse society, a community. And like you already know, I did not a few of my years I spent outside of the country when I was growing up. So when we came back to the United States, I can see that there is a major heavy attack on melanated people. And I really don't know if a lot of them understand or even realize what's going on, what's happening. They go along with it. They go along with the degeneracy and they paint it to be as something to glorify. It is nothing to glorify. Um, I don't see anything that is attractive about signing up to struggle in life. There's nothing cute about being stuck in a situation and not leaving out of it, to be trapped. And, people like to say, oh, I like trap music, trap music, trap music. You got to be careful with that because words are spells, you all. Words are spells. If you keep saying that you love trap music, right? Everything is the trap, the trap. You're trapped in the projects. You have a mentality mentality that keeps you trapped in your way of living. You are trapped. Do you understand that you're putting a spell? It's wordplay. Whenever you see these dudes wearing these chains, right? I want you to think about slavery. I want you to think about the shackles. I want you to think about animals that were in cages when people are in jail and prison, how you see like the zoos and you see the animals behind these cages. Same exact scenario. I want you to think about when people have to wear these shiny big bracelets, how there were shackles put around the feet, the ankles, the necks, the wrists of slaves. Do you understand where I'm going with this? The mentality that has actually been orchestrated to feed people's heads to believe that these things are okay, to keep perpetuating these narratives. You want to always signify to the rest of the world, the rest of the community, to outside people, outside influences, that you are so lucrative, that you have all this money. But when it really comes down to it, we don't own anything as a people. Yes, you individually own personal property. Okay. You might own some jewelry. You might own some Louis Vuitton. You might own some Gucci slides, Gucci belts. You might own some Dior bags. You own personal property, but you don't own anything and relative to the entire world. We don't control any economic um, finances in the world. We don't manufacture anything in this world. We don't make or produce cars. We don't make or produce houses. We don't have any melanated construction companies. We don't run any banks in America or across this nation. We don't own a bunch of tech companies. Everything that we utilize comes from everyone else. And then what gets me is people like to push the narrative of all these foreign name brands. Um, Everything that's outside of themselves, they like to glorify. If you notice, everything outside of melanated people like to glorify. Every time we have seen rap videos, they have been anything other than melanated females, right? And it's gotten worse and worse and worse over time. I remember back in the 90s when you would see females in videos, the raciest video might have been females in bikinis. Now it's to the point where all you see in every single video, every single song, are females bent over, shaking and twerking and wobbling and twerking and working, turning around, spinning around. That's all they have to offer to the world. Do you understand the message that this sends about the melanated community to the rest of the world? No, you don't care. You don't care that we are already economically disenfranchised as a people. You don't care that our melanated children, because I talk about this a lot on the channel, working in this last school year for the first time, I got to witness how illiterate melanated females are, how illiterate some of the melanated boys are, how the fact that they're in third grade and cannot read, how the fact that they don't know how to spell, the fact that they can barely write, the fact that they don't know proper grammar, the fact that they don't know how to capitalize the beginning of a sentence and end it with punctuation, the fact that some people can barely do math in third grade, the fact that one girl that I was trying to help was getting an attitude because she didn't know the difference between a plus, meaning an addition sign, and a minus, meaning subtraction sign. But we have so many videos out here and we have so much time to listen to Sexy Red, and they know all the lyrics to all these rap songs, but they don't even understand how to do math. They don't know how to multiply. They barely know how to count money. And these are the children that are being raised and pushed into society for the future. So when it comes down to it, in about 10 to 20 years from now, when we get older and we need melanated doctors, melanated attorneys, are there going to be any of those? There's going to be a deficiency in the melanated culture for professionals. And there are a lot of teachers out here that are quitting by the dozens because they do not want to teach your children, because your children are so disrespectful that they feel that they don't have to listen to the teacher. They feel that school is nothing more than a place where they can come and act out and socialize with their friends and classmates that are all going to basically not even be productive members of society. It is really, it's no words for what's going on right now in the school system. And if you have children, I would highly encourage you to make unplanned visits to the school. Drop in and sit in the classroom sometimes with your children to see what's really taking place. Y'all, you would be surprised. The teachers are having to be social workers, counselors, babysitters, daycare workers, coaches. They can't teach because basically every 15 to 30 minutes, you have to address behavioral issues. And where do you think this comes from? Lack of parenting. Why is there lack of parenting? Because there are no more parents in society anymore. You have Sexy Red raising your children. You have rappers raising your children. You have social media raising your children. YouTube raising your children. There are no fathers in the home. Fathers are lacking. And people think it's a joke. People think it's funny to say, oh, I have a baby mama. Oh, I have a baby daddy. There is no family unit anymore. There's no family structure any longer. But videos like this won't get pushed. People will unsubscribe, unfollow, don't want to hear it, don't want to listen to it, get offended or hypersensitive because they might be in the situation. But just because they don't want to hear the truth does not negate the fact that this is a major issue. And people don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about Julio Fulio and Young and Ace, which are products of what I'm talking about. So until the real issues are addressed, we're going to keep seeing the same cyclical, repetitive cycle that no one wants to address. Everybody wants to emulate the Tupac and Biggie era. Everybody wants to ride on their enemies. Everybody wants to have an East Coast, West Coast beef, but nobody wants to facilitate a reason and some type of solution to ending this situation. And it's always okay as long as it's impacting the melanated community. Because let me tell you something. You don't hear country singers talking about how they want to ride on their enemies, how they want to go to your hood, the other set, and shoot them up. We don't hear that. In rock music, they're not talking about their females twerking, treating them like a dog, calling them the B word. You're not going to hear that in the Caucasian community. I don't care what type of music they make. They're not belittling one another in their music and their lyrics. You don't hear Hispanic music belittling their women, belittling the people in their community. You don't hear that in Asian music or the Middle Eastern culture. But it's okay for melanated people to practice these antics. And guess what? Everybody listens to the music. Everybody can twerk to the music. Everybody can party to the music. Every other culture, like I said, benefits off of melanated oppression, while melanated people keep aiding and abetting themselves and one another in their own destruction. Do you not understand the mental degeneracy that's going on, and you keep repeating this narrative. You keep repeating the same behavior. And then I don't understand the people that has set the precedence. There are rappers, the quote unquote gangster rappers, then you got your drill rappers and all these different rappers. They have all basically perpetuated some of this stuff to take place. They have all fed into this. But like I said on my last live stream, you don't hear any of these rappers coming out speaking out against this. Why? Because they have sold themselves out. They have sold their souls. They have sold you out. They have sold out their communities. Because when it comes to the melanated culture, there is no us, there is no we. It is I, it is me, and that's it. Me, myself, and I. As long as I'm good, as long as my family is good, as long as I'm eating, as long as we eating, we straight over here. Oh, that's not my problem. I don't have anything to do with that. I'm good. I'm straight. This is the mindset of the melanated culture. They don't care if the rap lyrics that they push influences your child to do something that you would not agree to. And it is also your responsibility to be a role model and a parent to your child so they don't go looking to outside influences. It's one thing to be able to listen to the music and be strong-minded, but there are 90% of the people in the world in America are low vibrational. They don't use their brains. They don't logically think for themselves. And they don't have a strong mind. They are influenced by music. They're influenced by videos. They're influenced by movies. They're influenced by their peers. They're influenced by commercials. They're influenced by everything around them. They're not strong-minded. One thing school does not teach you is how to live in this world. They teach you the little basics, but it doesn't take 13 years for us to learn the things that we learned. They need to give me my time back, which I can never get back. And y'all, this is another reason why I do not have cable, will not subscribe to cable or pay for it ever again in life. TV took so much of my time and years away. TV took a lot of my attention away when I should have been focusing on my gifts, dreams, and talents, the same way that we all should be focusing on our gifts, dreams, and talents. But they knew to use the television to tell lies to your vision would be one of the best influences we could have to pacify us as children, as adults, because our subconscious mind is what they're after. When you speak to the subconscious mind by way of television, movies, TV shows, music, videos, people get influenced, and therefore life imitates art instead of art imitating life. Now you have a bunch of thugs or wannabe thugs, so-called thugs, out here thinking that they are real criminals and miscreants, going out here killing each other, bragging about it on the internet. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with the Julio, Fulio, and Young and Ace situation. And I just saw earlier that Ratchet TV was on a live stream with the ATK side. And y'all, they're going back and forth. It's so much back and forth going on behind the scenes that I just don't have the mental acuity to even want to keep up with it because it's so low vibrational and draining. People get lost in the beefs. This feeds their minds for entertainment purposes. When you have a culture, a melanated culture as sick and dysfunctional as they are, when they are fixated on negativity and death, there is something wrong with that. There is something terribly wrong with people that are fixated on rat beef and dysfunction. Yeah, we want to follow up to see what's going to happen, what's taking place with these things, but shouldn't it be a time where you get tired of this? Remember with the takeoff situation, we don't even hear about takeoff anymore. And we know that was some BS. We know that that was a cover up. And I know that he was set up. And we don't even really hear Quavo talking about it. So y'all, what does that tell you? Melanated culture? We don't have a culture. We don't have a culture. Don't tell me that hip hop is a culture. That's not a culture. That's a music genre. And it's influencing people in their behaviors. They are being influenced by peers, being influenced by rap lyrics. You're supposed to be grown men, grown women, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, thinking that you're still thugging it out, still on stage, thotting it out. You can't even dress like a respectful female anymore. You have to try to prove who can be the baddest bitch. Like, what is going on with people? And then you want to know why melanated men often seek another ethnic group. They are tired of the nonsense. They are tired of the ratchetness. They are tired of the negative, bad attitudes, the nasty attitudes. They are tired of you flaunting yourself around like you're a prostitute. They are tired of the fact that they can't bring you around without you showing that you are a respectful female, that you don't even have respect for yourself to dress with class and dignity. And if you were to have children, especially a daughter, the things that you've done on the internet is always going to be there. No one cares about that. Nobody cares about their reputation anymore unless it's something negative. Now, if it's something negative, then they will be basically proving to the internet that they can be the most ratchet, they can be the most thuggish, the most hood. That's all they care about. And you want to talk about a legacy? Melanated people are not caring about a legacy. Oh, excuse me, hip hop culture, black cultures, that's what you want to call it. They don't care about having a legacy. The only legacy they care about leaving behind is if somebody knew that there was a shooter. They put in that work in the street. They went to jail. They had all this work that they put in for who? For people that didn't care about you. You went to jail behind people that would see you get locked up. But y'all, this is what's being pushed. And you know what I find very interesting is these rap videos that are being allowed on YouTube, these rap videos that are being pushed by Google. Who owns Google? Jeff, no, no, no. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon. But yeah, the Rockefellers has something to do with the ownership of YouTube. And if y'all don't know who the Rockefellers are, look them up. Look them up, y'all. Like I said, there's an attack on melanated culture, but melanated people, y'all are also, you're contributing, doing it to yourselves. And I know a lot of people don't believe in the Willie Lynch letter, but you need to look it up. I've reviewed it a few times on this channel already. I shouldn't have to keep reviewing the same stuff on the channel because there's so much information out here. People can do research themselves. But if it's not talking about Sexy Red, if it's not talking about, a rapper being shot, if it's not talking about an entertainer, they're not interested. They're not going to read it. If it's something that's impacting your direct life, people don't care. People are more concerned with people that are outside of them, that they don't even know personally, because they have this perceived image that these people have some type of fame just because they are known on the internet, just because people know that they sing songs and they create music, if you want to classify that as music. Real musicians know how to play instruments. Real musicians know how to read music. Real musicians know how to write. All of this rhyming, this gangster rap, this drill rap, this is not real music. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't speak to your soul in a way that's going to heal you. It is destruction. It is death. There is nothing glorifying about that. Yet, and still, you're going to have people that's going to defend it. people that wants to keep pushing the narrative. And this is going to be a cyclical, repetitive cycle because nobody wants to stop it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to address it. Where are all these dudes that got these podcasts? Where are these men's podcasts? So you mean to tell me that all these people that have these podcasts, and don't even get me started on the Breakfast Club, don't get me started on what's the other one with Noriega? Like, I lost a lot of respect when he took down that Kanye West interview and put it on private because Kanye West was speaking some real truth. Real truth was being spoken in that interview, and we don't see that on the internet anymore. I can't think of the name, Drink Champs. Okay, you have Noriega, which is not his real name, what, pushing 50? And all he does is, yeah, 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 drink up, drink up. You want another shot? Here, pull up some more. And then you got the other dude in the background. Yeah. How long can we keep going on watching that? How long do you watch the same nonsense before you get tired of it? It's just ridiculous. Degeneracy in melanated communities. Then you got DJ Envy over there committing real estate fraud, which we don't hear about that anymore. I don't know what he did behind the scenes to try to make that get quiet, but we're not hearing about that anymore with DJ, what's his name, Pena, that Pena dude that he was hanging with, and we heard him endorsing and all those real estate endorsements. DJ Envy with his soft self coming out of Hampton. And let me tell you something, Hampton University is not all of that. It's just as hood and ghetto. How do I know? Trust me. I used to I used to be around there, and people do so much for the internet, y'all. They really do. Then you have Charlemagne the God, and it's just it's a joke right now. Melanated culture is a joke right now, y'all, because they don't address real issues. They dance and tap dance around things. They're not asking real questions, real pertinent questions that really affect the melanated community. I remember when Dr. and he's not a real doctor, Fauci was on there back when COVID hit, and all three of them were like some clowns. They would never ask him real questions that I would have asked about that whole situation. You know what they asked him? Oh, so now that you've been voted as the world's sexiest man, how do you feel about that? Dumb stuff. This is a politician, and y'all can't think about asking any better questions than that. That was coming from Angela Yee. They are a mockery. They are a joke. And this is who you have representing the voice of the people. Don't even get me started with Angie Martinez, because even she does the same antics. I remember, and she's not a real melanated person, so she probably doesn't care. But like I said, everybody gets to eat off of melanated culture. Everybody gets to benefit off of melanated oppression. Just remember, I told you that. Let's look at DJ Vlad. Let's look at his interviews. He's always behind the camera, the Russian dude, Vladimir, Vladimir Putin. Let me stop. But yeah, so, and these rappers such as Lil Boosie going on there talking about he got shot at the Big T, which I don't even know if that's really true. He got shot in his knee. I was just at the Big T just last week out there in Dallas. I've been there a few times. Why would they want to shoot him? Who knows? That could have been a lie. Y'all, these people make stuff up for attention. When you look at some of Boosie's, if you look at some of his interviews, I want y'all to pull up this interview called Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. Pull up that interview with Mike Tyson and Lil Boosie. And I want you to read the facial expression on Lil Boosie's face. I want you to see that Mike Tyson read him very well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Boosie has done some things behind the scenes that he's not proud of and he's never going to speak about. And Mike Tyson read every bit of his ass right there on that podcast. Even Mike Tyson has a little suspect behavior that took place because I played it on the channel. What man, what straight male gets upset in front of the cameras and tells another man, I'll F you, and threaten them in front of everybody and made it very clear what he was talking about? Y'all, these people behind the scenes, you have no idea what they're doing for their fame. This goes on not only in the music industry, not only for the actors, this also goes on in the sports industry. Politicians are no better. These people that you think are your presidents are not your presidents. Barack Obama is not who you think he was. Michelle is not really a female. Like I could go on and on and on. I talk about it all the time, but people don't want to hear. It falls on deaf ears. You still have idiots going around talking about they're going to vote blue no matter what. It does not matter. Your vote does not matter, especially melanated people. And the reason that I'm saying that, why your vote doesn't matter, because you don't put any economic power into the politicians. You don't lobby. And we learned about that. Remember in high school, we learned about the lobbyists. They're the ones that control everything. This is the reason why we can have food that approved by the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration, that's not approved in other countries. This is why they can give us candy with cancer causing agents in it. This is why we can eat gummy candy. And this is why we can have injections with paint and paint thinner in it. This is why we can have carcinogens fed to us because the lobbyists made it okay for this to be served to the American people. But y'all don't have any economic power, melanated people. So your vote really doesn't count because you don't put money into anything that's important. You put it into your shoes and your clothes and your hair weave, your lashes, your fingernails, giving that to the Asian people, getting your pedicures, making everybody rich, buying European stuff. You don't put it back into your people, into the power of you and your youth and your education. And when I say education, I'm not talking about just going to college because some of your HBCUs, as a matter of fact, most of your HBCUs, including Spelman and Howard, were founded by the Rockefellers, were founded by Caucasians. So all of this stuff that you're pledging, Delta, Theta, Sigma, Alpha, that comes from the Greeks. That is not coming from your people and your ancestors. You are doing nothing but emulating Caucasian people. Okay. So all of that, oh, we got a brotherhood, we got a sisterhood, we pledged, you're hazing each other. That is nothing but gang behavior. It's still a ritual. What you need to be more concerned about is trying to come together in unity and peace and love for your people, the same way that the Asian community does for one another, the same way that the Hispanic communities do for one another, the same way that the Middle Eastern cultures do for one another. Oh no, but that's too difficult. That's too hard for melanated people. You have to have some type of pledge. You have to have a brotherhood because why? We don't know why. Everybody else does it, so we're just going to go along with it. We don't research and we don't care the reality behind the research. We're just going to keep following behind in these practices the same way that we do with these pagan holidays. I bet you a lot of you all were out there celebrating the 4th of July, which, what was that? 1776 was allegedly Independence Day. What do we know about 1776 melanated people? Allegedly, Juneteenth tells us that your slaves were not free until the 1800s. So why are you celebrating slavery? I'll wait. Oh, we don't have an answer for that. Oh, we don't want to hear about that. We don't want to listen to that. We're going to turn the channel. We're going to unsubscribe. That's fine. This is what's wrong right now with the mentality of melanated people. This is why we can't get anywhere as a people and practice group economics together because y'all are too caught up in a fantasy and a facade. As long as you're entertained, you'll be entertained until your untimely demise. You'll be entertained until oblivion. You know, I remember Red Pill said something and it stuck with me. I can't think of it right now, but it has something to do with people perish for a lack of knowledge. And guess what? We have the most melanated people perishing because they refuse to have knowledge. They're going to keep perpetuating these rap lyrics because it has a good beat, because it's fun, it fuels something in them at the moment. They're going to keep perpetuating getting high, smoking weed, not knowing that the government actually has made it legal in a lot of states, Washington, D.C., Virginia. Now think about it. This is a Commonwealth state. Why do you think they're actually making this legal? Because you don't know that you're being poisoned in your own drugs that you like to smoke? Do you understand that smoking weed, what state of mind that puts you in? But that's okay because as long as Snoop Dogg keeps telling you to get high, as long as Wiz Khalifa keeps telling you to get high, you're going to get high as you can and fly high as a kite. That's all you're going to do with all your might, right? Yeah, power to the people, right? Y'all like to sit up here and keep doing the same stupid, degenerate stuff over and over and then think it's funny. You think it's entertaining and think it's cute. This is why we don't get anywhere. Y'all let celebrities, which you know, I don't believe in celebrities because you're celebrating an entity that you don't even know, speak for you when it comes to matters of politics. What in the world does Cardi B know about politics? But she was endorsing Joe Biden just a few years ago. Now, what do we hear? All melanated people talking about, oh, nah, F Biden. We're voting for Trump. Trump, Trump, make America great again. Y'all are just an embarrassment. It is an embarrassment at this point. You don't even understand that your local municipalities are where you first start to get some type of action going in your community. But guess what? You don't attend the meetings. You probably don't even attend a neighborhood meeting. You probably don't even attend your HOA board meeting. And I know most of you don't even attend your PTA meeting. What is that? Parent teacher conference meetings. You don't even show up in the school for your children because you feel that, oh, I'll just send my children to school because that's just another daycare center for me. I don't have to worry about these badass kids. Get them out of my house. They're gone for 8 hours. I get to be free from them. That's the mentality. And these people keep procreating and multiplying and reproducing and want the government to take care of them. Now, let me tell you something. If I were your opposition and I didn't like you, and you said to me, take my children for 8 hours every single day for 13 years. I'm tired of dealing with them. You know what? I probably would say, okay. And I would poison their minds every single day. I would lie to them about their history. I would make them know what I want them to know. I would make them feel inferior, disenfranchised, make them feel like they don't have any power. I would train them to listen to me. I'm their dictator over anybody else. I'll make myself look to them, make them look to me as if I were superior. That's what I would do if I were your enemy and I didn't like you. Guess what else I would do to your children, your babies that you claim you love so much? I would poison them with the food. When they have school lunch, I would keep telling them milk, it does a body good. Even though I know that most melanated people are lactose intolerant, even though I know that cow milk is nothing but cow pus and hormones, even though I know that meat has cancer carcinogens in it, and usually the meat is injected with dyes, even though that I know meat is cancer causing, I would feed the chicken to your children, even knowing that these are not real chickens because real chickens are not white. I would feed your children eggs and tell them that it's protein, even though that real protein comes from green leafy plants. because I know the truth, but you don't research. So I'm going to use your ignorance against you because you're too worried about Cardi B. You're too worried about Sexy Red. So I'm going to keep feeding you what you love. I'm going to let all of your fantasies be the thing that I give you the most of. And then I'm going to make it so that you don't even care about your health. I'm going to keep poisoning your children with this food. I'm going to make them eat eggs. And you know what? Even though eggs are not really white. Y'all are eating artificial meat, artificial eggs, but you don't care. And then when it's time to go to the doctor and you have all these health ailments and then you can't figure out why, guess what I would do? I would put on a white coat. I would work in the hospital and I would pretend like I have your best interest at heart. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to give you the cure. I might give you a treatment. I might keep you alive just long enough so I can run up your medical bills, make you have debt, mess up your credit score. Now, guess what? You're still stuck in the projects. You'll never get a house. You'll never own a home of your own. You'll never have land. You're always going to be paying rent to massa. You're always going to be living in the projects. You don't care because guess what you're too worried about? Jordans, hair weave, getting your nails done, getting pedicures, making sure you have the latest designer bags. Yeah, that's what I would do if I were your enemy. I don't have to actually do it to you. I'll let you do it to yourself because now you are addicted to these things. And guess what? You're so mentally weak that you're not even going to try. Now I'm going to let you destruct, self destruct, and destroy your own people. So when you see somebody trying to climb up, you're going to tear them down and knock them back down. Now you're infighting. Guess what else I'm going to give you? I'm going to give you the solution to the own problems that I created and that you created as a byproduct. I'm going to invent the police, which used to be the slave catcher. I'm going to put you in our court system. I'm going to throw the book at people that don't have a record. Yeah. And all the criminals that come in there, I'm going to keep giving them chance after chance after chance after chance. Why do I keep doing that? Why is it that they get less time for murdering than for robbing a bank? Because I care more about money than I care about your Black life. That's why. So when you march and you say Black Lives Matter, I know that you don't really mean it because you don't even know how Black Lives Matter got started, how silly you are, how mentally ill you are, you degenerate. Did you know Black Lives Matter was actually started by someone from a European country? That they were not started by real melanated people. Yeah, there are two melanated females that are lesbian women that had something to do with it. But are you familiar with George Soros? He's a billionaire. Yes, he actually contributes to Black Lives Matter and he gets people to actually gather other people to march and protest for Black Lives Matter. So all your marching and protesting doesn't mean anything because guess what? Your Black dollars never mattered because you're not spending them in the proper places to make a difference in politics. So this whole perpetual cycle will repeat itself. I'm going to have you in our court system. You will never have a way out. And you keep talking about justice, you will get no justice, no peace, no races, police. Please, you sound like a joke. How ignorant, you degenerate. And you know what? And that's how they see a lot of melanated people. But you don't care. You don't want to hear the truth because as soon as someone tries to tell, especially a melanated female, the truth, they get the biggest, nastiest attitudes. Even the women that are quote unquote part of the church, some of them are the worst. They want to talk about their white Jesus. Oh, as long as I pray to Jesus, I don't have to worry. I'm just going to let Jesus fix it. Yes, Jesus. It's not Jesus, because you need to understand that when that Bible was created, there was no J. Okay. All Hispanic people that spell their name that way, Jesus, is named Jesus. I don't know why American melanated people don't understand that. Oh, that's right, because they're whitewashed and brainwashed. Now, they'll believe whatever a white person tells them, but if you're a melanated person and you try to tell them the truth, you're the enemy. Don't talk to me. You don't know my Jesus. I'll kick you out of this house talking about my Jesus. Jesus, you mean? You're going to hell. Oh, so now you're judging. Aren't you a hypocrite? I thought the Bible says, oh, they don't want you to tell them what the Bible says. I know the Bible. Now, guess what? You're in a religious war back and forth with one another, which is another thing that keeps melanated people separated. Because if you're not a regular church goer, if you don't believe in their Jesus, and that you're not saved, get get thee behind me, Satan. You can't be around me. But these are the same melanated women that'll be crying at a funeral because their son was shot, killed, was selling drugs, was out there in the streets talking about my baby, my baby. Why did he take my baby? My boy was a good boy. He was good, and trying to make it seem like he's on his way to heaven. Yeah, it's a joke. It is a freaking joke. But this is the ratchetness, the hood mentality, and the degeneracy of melanated culture, y'all. Oh, what y'all like to call black culture. Did you know that black has no ethnicity, right? But you like to call yourselves black. So let's go with black, the black culture, hip hop culture. Mm-hmm. You like having the same cyclical behavior. And what do they say about people that do the same thing over and over and over and over again? People, when you do the same thing over and over again, it is a sign of insanity. So right now, you're just the definition of insane. And you want to know why every culture moves further and further away from you and does not want to live in your neighborhoods. Why do white people move into your neighborhoods? And when too many of you come around, after 2 or 3 years, they sell their homes. After 6 months, they sell their homes and go somewhere else. Because every time you move into a neighborhood, you bring it down. You don't keep your property value up. You don't maintain your yard. You don't like to maintain your house. You don't like to fix or repair anything on your house. You let it fall to shreds. You have broken down cars on the street, broken down cars in the garage, well, on the driveway, and you don't care. You don't care. And then you have to blast music coming down the street because what do you want more than anything? You want attention. You have to be seen and you have to be heard, even though you look ignorant and sound ignorant, but you want everybody to see and hear your ignorance. Yes, this is the representation of melanated people. And you want to know why you are the least respected, underprotected, most rejected. Let's not even get started on how the melanated male does not even begin to be men anymore, are not men anymore. Those days are over. The last men that were really created in this society are now in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. You might find some in their 50s. But if they're in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, they're not, most of them are not real men anymore. You can forget that. They're soft, they're ignorant, and they are degenerate. Sad but true. This is why you have females saying they're not having children, they're not getting married. And if they do want to have children, guess what they're doing? They're going outside of their race. Or I've heard them say they're going to a sperm bank, or they're making an arrangement with a guy and say, look, you don't have to be a part of this child's life. Just give me what I want and I'll have this child and raise it myself. I don't need you around because they don't want your degenerate behavior influencing the child and basically messing up their lives. That's how sad it has gotten. And you want to know why a lot of women say they're not going to get married? This is why. So stop telling females that something is wrong with them because they don't have children. Because let me tell you something, ladies, getting with these degenerates will ruin your life. The best thing you can do is protect yourself. Don't let anybody make you feel bad, sad, uncomfortable, make you feel any less because you made a decision in your life not to procreate with these degenerates, knowing that their DNA would mix with your DNA, and God knows what would come about of that with the child. You will have to deal with this miscreant the rest of your entire life. So don't let anybody try to write your narrative for you. If they want to live in degeneracy, let them do it. If they want to live in dysfunction, let them do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you are anything less because you don't have a man. It's not that you couldn't get one. It's you choose not to have a degenerate one. And then on top of it, if you're not married, guess what a marriage is? That is a contract between two people and the government. Why do you need a piece of paper and a contractual agreement to put down on a business contract? You two are supposed to be forming some type of spiritual connection between the two of you. But every time people have to get a divorce, what do they have to do? Go through the courts and go through a whole bunch of nonsense and have attorneys. So marriage is a business arrangement, just like Jay-Z and Beyonce, a business, Sean Carter and Beyonce. It's a business arrangement, y'all. You have to know how to define things for yourselves and stop living in this white man's culture telling you what to do with your lives all the time. Why women, when they give births, why are you laying on your back when you should be? Gravity is telling you that you're supposed to be, the baby comes down the birth canal. So why are you laying flat on your back? And now the baby has to work extra harder. You have to work extra harder. But if you are like this, then the baby can come down. A lot of things we do are backwards, such as cutting the umbilical cord at the time of birth, which that's supposed to fall off naturally on its own because the baby is still getting nutrients through the umbilical cord. Why is it that the placenta is being given to the medical professionals? And do you understand what they're doing with your placenta, ladies? Stem cells. Yeah, that's worth a lot of money. You don't even know what's being taken out of your own body is sacred. And they are duplicating and replicating you. They are cloning your DNA without your consent. Just research Henrietta Lacks and what they did with her cancer fighting cells. They were supposed to be paying that lady's family. But y'all trust these doctors. Y'all don't research. It's interesting. It's interesting when they say, if you want to hide something from a Black man, put it in a book. But I bet you they can recite rap lyrics. I bet you they know every single lyric to do it. Degeneracy at its finest. So, I keep hearing people blame white people for their downfall and all of the things that they go through. And yes, we have been oppressed by the Caucasians, but we also oppress ourselves because guess what? Do you know what melanated people like to do? Especially when they get into a place of authority, power, and position, instead of helping one another, they like to actually use their position of a power, authority, and their position or whatever they have to actually hold the other person back, to lie on them, to make them lose their jobs. Oh, I've been through that. And guess what? Most of the time, it's a melanated person. Did I ever do anything to them? No. No, it's just jealousy for whatever reason. Sometimes people don't like you because they don't understand how you have a good rapport with people and they don't have it because they don't have people skills. They don't like you because you look a certain way, because you have real hair, you have a natural glow aura about you, because you are real and genuine. People can't stand it. So now it's time to pick with you. get rid of you and try to make you lose your anything that you have going good for yourself. Now, we just saw that yesterday in that video with the children of Jacksonville. That's why I said it doesn't matter that it's coming from Jacksonville. Now, I'm going to tell you, Jacksonville is ratchet, but this behavior goes on all across the United States. It's disgusting. It's everywhere. This is the degenerate nature of melanated mindsets. All right. If you're not a melanated person that's like that, then you should not be offended. If you're a melanated person that's like that, you're going to be offended. And that's all there is to it. We put ourselves through so much torment, torture, and pain. You don't even have time to keep blaming anybody else at this point. You need to work on yourselves. Because if you know you're under attack by other people, then why are you doing it to each other? That's why you have to sometimes just have a very small circle and be to yourself. It's not about having a popularity contest in this world, on this planet. The more attention you have, the more people that you know, the more people you have around you, put yourself to be at risk to have more enemies, y'all. That's all that is. A bunch of people being fake and phony in your face, a bunch of people being secretly jealous and envious of you. That's all that is. People that are not really happy for you, people that are competing with you, comparing themselves to you, not knowing the eternal battles, the internal battles that you're really going through, because all people see is what's on the exterior, how things seem to work gracefully for you, how you bring things together. How does she have this? How does he have that? How did he achieve or accomplish what he or she has? Why did it work out for them, but not for me? People are competing with you behind the scenes in their minds. And it's quite sickening. You'll see these people on your Instagram, right? If you're posting something and you're working on something and you are basically advertising or marketing for yourself, there are people that will watch your story and never like it, never share it, never comment on it. They just watch. And then there's some people that can't stand to see it, so they will simply unfollow you. They can't stand to see you try to do anything for yourself. This is how sick and degenerate they are mentally ill. Okay? Just understand that you are not alone if you have uh noticed these things. You have to be vibrating at a certain level. You have to have a certain amount of enlightenment in your lives to understand what I'm even talking about. If you're not one of them people, then I'm not talking to you. If you understand, then we're here with it. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, people are secretly watching you, y'all. And they could be in your neighborhood. People will watch. If you went shopping, they'll watch you bring bags into your house. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. They're wondering, how did you have extra money to go spend? I remember when I when I used to live in the apartment complex, it's like I could feel the energy looking at me because I used to like to shop, y'all. And people would used to look and see what bags you're bringing out of your car. Hmm. Yeah. People are watching you even when you think they're not watching. They pretend to not see your accomplishments. And they will request you as a friend because they heard from someone else that you're doing something. So now they want to come on your Facebook page and see it for themselves so they can look. Yeah, I've had that happen to me. And those people are still sitting there with the friend request, unfriended. They can be family members and relatives. I don't care. And those are the main ones, y'all. Sadly but true, you come from the same DNA, but they're in competition with you. Those are the ones that hate you the most. Sad, but true. We just saw that with the Young and Ace and Julio situation. Weren't they blood cousins, separated on two separate sides, going at it, going to battle, trying to end each other's lives, shooting at one another? This is the degeneracy of melanated individuals, y'all. And this stems far, far beyond what anyone can fathom. So when y'all talk about being oppressed, you need to worry about why you oppress one another. Y'all, this has been an episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. I didn't want to be on here too long. It's already past my bedtime. Um, I hope you have enjoyed, this conversation. I just wanted to talk about it because someone needs to address it because people are afraid to speak like this on their platforms because they're afraid that they won't get support. But you know what? There needs to be an outlet. People need to hear these messages because hopefully more people will start to speak out against it and stop, fueling the degenerate behavior and stop fueling the ignorant behavior. Start actually speaking, power to life and stop speaking death all the time and stop always, glorifying negativity. There's no life in that and there's no power in that. And you all, I'm going to go ahead and close out telling you to continue always to walk in your divinity. You were sent here for a reason with a gift and a purpose. Don't let anybody steer you off of your life path, y'all. And if you don't believe in stuff like this, please check out Life Path Numbers. I'm a Life Path 1 natural born leader, and that's why I've never been a follower of anyone. I just lead my own life. I don't have to flock around with a whole group of people. When you stand by yourself, you stand for something. When you stand with everybody else, you can fall for anything. All right. And just like that, you all, I'm signing out. I want to give a special acknowledgement to all of the ultimate warriors and the angelic warriors still living to fight another day. And if you're going to fight for something, fight for your dreams, your goals, your life, and your passion, y'all. All right, you all stay blessed until next time. Please take care. Check out my Patreon and also check out my Rumble. That's